So today we're gonna try to see if it's worth to actually get the World War II packs that are coming for the three nations. It's gonna be a very quick video, of course. There isn't a lot to show here, guys, but we're gonna try to answer that question, right? Remember that these, of course, they're old news, of course. A lot of people are, I mean, maybe not a lot of people, because nobody... Sometimes nobody cares too much about these things, but it is still cool to see this type of pack. And also, if it's, you know, are they like really something that you should get or not, right? Of course, it depends on the price. I don't think we know the price yet, so that will be a significant factor for me to decide if this thing is worth it or not. So an 100% answer would be after we know the price, but to be honest, just looking at the vehicles, we can already see some conclusions. So the idea here is that we have three nations that are going to receive World War II packs. So we have the US, the Russians, and the British, and they basically have three vehicles. So we have a lighter one, normally, as you see. We have a heavier one, and then we have an AA system. So it will be basically the three types of vehicles each nation. So, for example, for the US, we have a Sherman over here that I have to check if this thing is... Is it a Jumbo? I think it is, right? It looks like one. I have to check, but I'm pretty sure it is. Honestly, I don't know. Maybe not. Let me check. Hold up. No, I don't think it is. It's just a later model of the Sherman, but still, it's not one of those. But anyway, basically a Sherman. We have the Hellcat, the M18, and we have the Skink, of course, an AA. For the Soviets, we have the IS-1 from 1945, apparently. The T-3485, and then the Hanomag, which is an AA system, a half-track that is using basically a German vehicle, right? It's a captured German vehicle. And the British, they have another Sherman using, of course, the QF-17, which is a very good gun. But, you know, yeah, basically a British Sherman. We have the Avenger, and then we have the Crusader with the AA turret. So, at the end of the day, the principle is the same, and they all kind of are in the same BR range, kind of, you know, it depends. The AA systems is normally a little bit different with the Soviets and the British, but still, the idea here is that you can sell multiple vehicles with one pack so that people actually buy it because you can drive them all at once. So, for example, imagine that I don't have anything here. Oh, you don't even need to imagine. Oh no, in the British, I kind of have something over here. But, well, imagine that I don't have anything in this tech tree, right? Maybe it's more worth to actually get these three premiums to get you to rank 4, for example, in the most effective way, than getting one premium in a tank battle, and then... you know, dying and having to choose a vehicle that it's another premium to play, which means that you become a little bit less effective on the grind, right? It's something that aircraft premium don't suffer from. But here, we do have this problem because you can spawn multiple times in a ground battle, of course, right? So it's kind of like a good idea. Hopefully it's not that expensive, although we do have three vehicles. They are pretty much copy-paste, so let's take a look on some of the vehicles, starting with the Sherman over here, the American one. And you will see that it's basically just a normal vehicle. There's nothing different from it apart from cosmetic stuff. So you can see that, of course, it has the camo net over there, which can be a good thing. Of course, in these BRs that you don't have thermals or anything, camo nets can be a little bit effective. Of course, you still have your beloved stabilizer on the Shermans, which is pretty interesting. So you can see that you can be very effective. It is a very good tank. Might not have the most amount of armor, but it is an annoying armor, I would say sometimes. Sometimes you can get very odd shots depending on what you're shooting with, especially in the lower glaces, of course, but even in the upper glaces. And let's be honest, if you were trying to get weak spots with this, the camo nets, you know, it just make it worse, right? So, of course, this version uses the 76, and it has the M2, right? So, nothing fancy over here, see? The only thing is the camouflage, right? But, again, a camouflage such as this will make you be able to not really know where the weak spots are. I mean, yes, you can see the gun barrel over here, for example, but you know, it's one of those that it's just kind of hidden there. So yeah, and of course you have the normal rounds. Of course you have the M62, you have the normal AP that nobody uses unless you are stock, but the M62 APCBC, of course, the main round over here. APCR sometimes can be useful, shell, the smoke shell, and HE as well. But yeah, so again, with the Hellcat, you will kind of see the same trend over here. It is the exact same tank. It has the same rounds as a normal M18. Of course, no armor, but very mobile. 6.0. Just mind that the Americans have the highest BR of them all, you know, in the normal matches. So you can, you know, you will see that it's pretty much the same vehicle. Here, the camouflage is a lot more... like more... It's not that... It's not gonna hide the Hellcats too much, but it does help a lot. So it is pretty cool. You have a 30 cal there as well that I don't remember seeing in the normal M18. So there are a couple of differences here and there that will be there, but the main thing is that it's the same vehicle. Let me even see if the normal Hellcat has this. I don't think it does, right? Where is the M18? Am I blind? Where is the M18? Jesus. Oh, it's right here. Jesus Christ. So yeah, it doesn't have the 30 cal there, right? So there are a couple of things that make you be able to be a little bit different. And of course, a skink, which is just a, you know, a Sherman, as you see, but with an AA turret. Is it the best AA system ever? No, but it is a very cool vehicle, and it makes it up to help you in this BR. Because remember, guys, imagine you are a premium, like you are using premiums and stuff, but at the end of the day you are using 6 vehicles, right? Which is pretty good. Of course, you have kind of a slow reload, but as you see, you can get some pretty good kills over here. So at the end of the day, we're gonna have to see what the price is, because the idea, like I said, is pretty good. The vehicles are good vehicles. They're not bad vehicles. It's just that maybe it's not worth it. We're gonna have to wait and see, because think about, if these vehicles, they cost, for example, 3 times as much as one of these, for example, a Cobra King over here or something, or the M18, which is pretty much the same as the vehicle here, I don't think it's gonna be that worth it. But if they cost like 2.5 times, 2 times the amount of one vehicle, then I think it's going to be a very good price, right? The Russians over here, they have a normal IS-1 again, but with the Camonet, apparently 1945, you can see the, if I'm not mistaken, invasion of Germany, I think, these paints, they started to use, something like that. I don't remember the history behind it. You can remove these camouflage nets as well, as you see. Of course, I would always use it because it looks cool. You still have the same rounds, you know, the K, the normal one. I would still use, of course, the APHEBC, right? APCR can be helpful as well. I don't even need to test drive. It's just an IS-1, normal IS-1, nothing different. Here we have kind of a different version of a T-34. It looks a little bit like the T-34E kind of, but again, it is an 85 version, so uses the bigger cannon, right? It has these kind of HE against heat, you know, probably against heat and, you know, rockets and stuff, armor on the sides, which is pretty interesting. I mean, you're not gonna see too many Panzerfausts over here, but in the game, you know, but it still looks okay, it looks good. It has a little bit more armor there, so it might be a little bit more protected. It's not really, you know, something that would make a lot of difference in World War II, but it's still there, so very, very cool. Of course, again, uses the same, basically the same gun, right? And then we have the Hanomag, which is the captured vehicle. The funny part is that it uses the MG151s. Do we have this vehicle here? I think we do, right? Yeah, it's basically the same vehicle as this one. The SDKFZ. So yeah, it's basically the same thing, you know, so, but captured, which is kind of weird. I mean, I kind of dislike capture stuff, so yeah, but it's still a very good vehicle. We can even test drive it if you've never seen it. I don't think I ever played with this vehicle, so I don't know. An IS-1 and a T-34, yeah, but this thing, I don't think I ever played. Of course, MG 151s, amazing guns. Let's see how bad I am. I am. It's easier to use than the other ones, actually. MG 151s are just amazing, right? So very, very cool. Of course, it's a half track, a little bit more mobile, but nothing too crazy. It doesn't have a lot of armor as well. So yeah, very good AA system for the BR as well. Kind of a lower BR, but the whole like Russian theme here is less, you know, of a BR. And then we have the British, which again uses a Firefly. Nothing too crazy, but of course the gun is pretty amazing. I love this gun, actually. The thing is, of course, it penetrates a lot, but you do have to be careful with, you know, the armor of the vehicle sometimes, because it has a little bit less, but, you know, it's still pretty good. And overall, a very good tank as well. The Avenger, of course, almost no armor, apart from some places. I mean, yes, there is 63 millimeters here, but in these BRs, I mean, it's not angled, so that's the problem, right? The Shermans, at least, they are angled, the T-34s and stuff. So, yeah, it's slightly armored, a little bit more mobile. You still basically have the same ammunition because it's pretty much the same gun, if I'm not mistaken. I think it is, right? And then we have the Crusader, which is, again, low armor, but, of course, you have the Oiling cones to help you destroy aircraft. So, at the end of the day, guys, is it worth it? Well, like I said, I think to draw the line over here, I would say that if it costs 2 vehicles equivalent over here, so if it costs, for example, the equivalent of 6,000 Golden Eagles to 7,000, I think it will be worth it, you know. But at the same time, remember, the limitation is still there. It's just going to be more effective to get to the higher places. So I think if that is kind of the price, it's okay. Then I think it's all right. Like 2 times the price of one vehicle, basically, right? Maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less, but around there. If it's more than that, I don't think it's worth it, okay? So let's wait and see what the price is. And remember, for example, you have to compare it to a vehicle that it has the same kind of line of thinking. For example, the T-34 85 over here, it's much better than the 57 in terms of overall capacity. Of course, it has a higher BR as well, right? So you have to take that into account for the prices to have an idea, okay? So yeah, that's my opinion. Unless it's like at least 1/3 cheaper than the equivalent of buying 3 vehicles, I don't think it's worth it. You know, it needs to be kind of like that. Okay, so hopefully you enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe. I know it's kind of a boring video, but just to give you my opinion if you should buy or not. I see you guys on the next one. Make sure to subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, and bye. See ya.